Journeys Ahead 2 Lineage Chapter 13 An Early Gift. Written and narrated by T.S. ProArt. How are you feeling, honey? Jida asked as both her and Void laid upon the Spark's blue-covered and unkept bed. Resting back first into the old cushions, Void stared upwards towards the ceiling, while Jida, as per usual, clung to the Spark's side in a koala-like position. My body's healing nice and tidy, but my brain is not. Not physically, just I'm worried is all. Void revealed with a shaken honesty as he slowly turned the gaze upon his family portrait atop the nightstand. Is it about the conductors? Jida quietly inquired, while pressing her right freckled cheek upon Void's left. All of it. I haven't told you yet, but there's a chance that machine Matira cooked up, it could revive our dead. Blinking with the visible confusion, Jida slowly sat up upon her right side and held a ponderous stare upon her face. What do you mean? She beckoned, as Void too gently sat up. They could bring back not just new sparks, but old sparks too. In response, Void could see Jida's eyebrows rise up, and her lips shrink into a small clasp. The visual keys that showed someone was deeply thinking. You're kidding? Really? Jida finally said, making Void sit upright and then rest upon the ledge of the bed. Yeah, I'm all for it if you're curious. But with all these conductors running about and the horror of the unknown, I can't help but say I'm feeling a bit mixed. Void reasoned as he began to rub his forehead. Like, what if the project fails? What if we make something horrifying? What if it's not sparks? What if... Crawling up behind him, Jida slowly wrapped her cookie-looking arms around the Spark and warmed her hair up into a comforting sensation. As the heat caressed Void's skin, he suddenly began to feel at ease. You overthink too much. May I remind you that your literal goddess is the head of the whole operation? Jida remarked as she rubbed her head in the Void's very own, like a cat demanding its owner for pets. I know, but this is much bigger than I could have ever imagined. I think I might take tomorrow's venture off to, catch my breath. Smirking, Jida pressed herself closer in the Void, making it look as though he was about to fall off the bed from her added weight. We can go out for lunch tomorrow if you like. Perking up ever so gently, Void gave a tiny smile and nodded, thinking that could have been a nice breather. Sure. Why not? He agreed, when from out of nowhere, Povnu entered through the door. Yo, mama, your phone is ringing. It's from a number I don't really know. The fox exclaimed as she tossed Jida her teal-cased covered cell. Name? The guitarist asked. It's a number with the name Winona S at its end. I don't recognize it. Povnu replied while crossing her arms and leaning against the room's entrance. Specs? Void asked with a raised eyebrow, as Jida quickly answered and placed the phone to the side of her head. Specs? Who's Specs? Povnu asked, as Jida began to talk with an out-of-context conversation. You don't remember Winona? She's a friend from me and Jida's high school and college days. She was at her wedding. Void revealed to Povnu's curiosity. Oh, well, I never really paid much mind to your friends. They rarely came over. The fox retorted, as Jida looked to smile with a flurry of uh-huhs and yes. You kidding? We had a whole friend group and everything. There was her, Taylor, Muck, Coco, and your friend Mia's bigger sister, Ellie. Void listed, while Plovnu simply nodded. Oh, I see. How come you've never brought them up or see them as much? The fox wanted to know, as Void gently stood to his feet. Life, kiddo. Friends normally don't see each other as much as they get older. I know Winona is working for A&N, Ellie is in the crime division, Coco is a... Coco. Void tried to explain. Simply put, life makes it hard for us to see each other. You'll eventually understand one day. As Void finished his explanation, Jida hung up the phone, turned, and eyed the spark with a glistening, happy stare. Put on your boots, big boy! The gang wants to meet up! In shock to this, Void whirled his head around with his jaw now visibly agape. The gang? Like, the gang? He asked with a stunned breath. The gang, Blue! Meeting up at Gilbert's like old times! Jida shouted as she quickly got up and scrambled to her feet. Whoa, what's the reason? Void started out as Jida ran to the bathroom to get ready. Holiday! I think most of them are off for a few days. It seems like she just wants us to reunite for an evening. Jida explained, while Void stood with a smile. What is happening this holiday? Kids on the way, my brother and other Sparks are alive. And now this? It's like a Christmas miracle, Plovnu. Void boasted as he turned to look at the fox, who stood unfazed. Outside of Ellie, I don't know your friends. But rock on, Spark Dad. Rock on. She finished with a smile, before leaving the room with a tail flick. Come on, Blue! Come on! Jida squealed with excited glee as she practically sprinted down a snow-covered sidewalk, while dragging Void behind her by the hand. Jida, be careful! You could trip! Void shouted with a nerve-wracked tone as he eyed his wife's belly. To keep things safe and out of question, Jida bundled up some extra clothes to avoid the purple shine coming through. Their friends and the entire world were still unaware as to who the Blue Bullet and Cosmic Angel were, so it was in order to keep their identities and lives safe. Oh, I'll be fine. Come on, we're just about there. With a hard turn, Jida practically dragged her husband around the city block corner, and then came to a sliding stop before a large diner, known as Gilbert's Burger Corner. Shaking her arms from a happy little stim, Jida, without wasting a second, entered through the front glass doors, with Void close behind. As they stepped into the cozy diner, a warm glow enveloped the married pair, inviting them to settle in. The walls were all adorned with twinkling lights, casting soft, festive shimmers over cheerful red and white checkered tablecloths. Vintage holiday postcards hung from strings above nearby booths, capturing nostalgic moments of seasons past. A towering Christmas tree also sparkled in one corner, having been draped with colorful ornaments and topped with a shining star. The aroma of freshly baked burgers, fries, and even pies was within the air, mingling delightfully with the faint jingle of a classic holiday tune playing softly in the background. Each booth was flanked by garlands of green tinsel and candy canes, bringing a touch of whimsy to the atmosphere. Although sounding disgusting on the surface for a name, Gilbert's Burger Corner was a place where warmth, laughter, and good times were shared. With the holiday upon the horizon, it made for a very inviting establishment. Hi, welcome to Gilbert's Burger Corner. How could we help you this evening? A red flip-side woman in a diner's gown asked at the front desk, with the name Laura plastered upon the glinting little name tag. Hi, we're here for some friends. Has anyone come in beforehand, or are we here first? Jida began to ask, when a gentle voice spoke from the right-hand side. Hi, guys. Snapping their heads to the call of the voice, Void and Jida set their sights upon an old friend. the one who had decided to call them that evening, Winona Specs. This woman wore a light purple coat, a reddish orange-maroon scarf, and dark purple jeans around her legs. She also wore glasses with rounded frames and winter-stained boots. Sprouting from her head was light yellow blonde curly hair that glistened in the holiday lights. She was a normal-looking human akin to Jida. Her skin was a soft pink tone that showed off a smiling blush that was upon the face of a tired but happy soul. "Winona!" Jida cried in glee as she ran herself over and embraced her old friend. Laughing, the two women spun in each other's arms, while Void slowly approached them with a smirk. "Long time no see, Specs," he said with a hand outstretched towards his friend. Letting go of Jida, Winona smiled back to Void with a toothy grin. Instead of shaking the Spark's palm, Winona instead hugged him too, in which he didn't mind. "Hey, lovebirds. Almost forgot you were about to become a mom and dad." Turning to the side, everyone was met with the other members of their old friend group. The first one of note was another regular human, a tall woman with light blue skin, red acorn hair, and a hazel-colored set of eyes. Around her body, she wore a heavy tan coat that had a fluffy hoodie piece. Around her legs rested dark gray pants, and around her shoulders sat a brown purse. "Ellie!" Jida called with another embrace, leaving the tall woman to chuckle. "Good to see you too, sister." Ellie greeted as one of the friends beside her spoke up. "You guys made it! I can't believe it! Bring it in!" Approaching towards Void came forth a dark-skinned, hot chocolate-colored Flipside. His upside-down head was a chocolate chip-colored brown, surrounded by a coffee-colored aura of water. This man was wearing a black sleek coat with white jeans and matching colored boots. "Hey, Taylor!" Void greeted as the two of them grabbed each other's hands and pulled one another into a bro hug. "It's so good to see you, man! You look great! You haven't aged a day!" Taylor exclaimed as a woodland human frog, the last current friend in the group, leapt up and lashed herself upon Void's back. "Don't leave me out of this embrace, you blip dips!" Looking up, Void was met with a red-skinned, purple-armed frog that had two large heterochromatic eyes that glistened a beautiful green and blue. This frog was wearing heavy winter clothes that seemed to be way too big for her size. But she was a small little thing. It was more than necessary. "Coco Ito. Been a hot minute since we last spoke." Void greeted as everyone got back to their normal standing positions. "Cold a minute is what I would say. It's been so long since we've been in the same room." The little frog shouted before suddenly pointing at Jida. "And you're pregnant!" Turning their heads, everyone looked down to Jida's belly. They had all known about the pregnancy through their social media posts, but never had they seen it in person. "Oh, Bezos! Looks like you're about to pop at any given second!" Snapping their heads to the sound of the door opening, everyone eyed down the last member of their friend group. An enchanted human who had a yellow cubed head, glistening purple hair that matched with a lavender flowing cloak. As his purple eyes greeted everyone, a collected smile fell upon them all. They all knew that big-nosed, cocky-sounding soul anywhere. "Muck!" Void waved, as at last, they were all reunited. "Feels that way. This little kicker is due any day now," Jida boasted, as the waitress began to guide everyone to a large booth to sit at. "Any day? Are you serious?" Winona asked, whilst gently holding on to Jida's arm. "Yep. We don't know when exactly the little sucker's head will pop out, but it's at least less than a week. That's for certain." The guitarist replied, as everyone took their seats in the booth. On one half, Void, Jida, Winona, and Coco sat, while on the other, Ellie, Taylor, and Muck rested as well. Quickly, everyone placed their orders. Late-night burgers, something they'd all have back when they were younger, before settling into conversation. "That's honestly insane. We all knew you two were inseparable, but to think we'll all be aunts and uncles is just... I'm so happy for you two. Taylor stayed with a wide smile that left the soon-to-be parents in a grateful attitude. Thanks, Tay. It's been a rough couple of months, but we couldn't be any more excited. Ford replied as he reached out and held Jida's hand atop the table, revealing their golden, shimmering wedding rings. You guys know the gender yet? Coco asked before shooting out her tongue and snagging a glass of water off a nearby table. We want it to be a surprise, Coco. If it's a boy, he'll be named Jay. If a girl, we'll call her Jane. Jida revealed as everyone eyed Coco for her strange action. All nodding and bowing their heads in a happy manner, the friend group all felt a wave of joy to the premise of the upcoming little one. Everyone had always thought the day would come from their favorite orange-blue couple, but now that it was near, it felt surreal. Hey, that's enough about us. How have you guys been? We know it's been a crazy couple of days, so how have you all held up? Jida asked, sparking Taylor to speak up. Crazy is putting it lightly, Jai. I'm just gonna cut straight to it. What do you guys think of that big-ass UFO that crashed and disappeared? The flip side human questioned, leaving Winona to jolt up and slam her hands on the table with excitement. Oh my god, where do I even begin? The blonde-headed human exclaimed, making some of her friends chuckle. You flipped the Nona switch! Prepare your ears! Muck chuckled out, leaving Ellie to gently slap the back of his head. Ow. Shut it, Lemon Boy! I wanted to do a report on that whole thing, but I was stuck out in the cold doing freaking traffic reports. Winona boasted before pressing her finger down on the table so hard it shook Coco's stolen drink. Traffic reports, y'all! As Winona shouted, she had the look of passion in her eyes that left everyone outside of Void and Jida ponderous. Oh man, that sucks. How's the whole A&N gig holding up, by the way? I'm assuming you're not writing stories anymore, right? Coco asked as their food quickly arrived. They were the only ones in the establishment, so it made sense as to how fast their burgers were made. Nope, I'm field reporting. It's been great, I guess. To be honest, I haven't been able to keep a cameraman, but hey, I'm trying to make things work. Trying. Winona rambled on before cutting back into the topic at hand. But guys, seriously, I gotta ask. Don't you all find it a bit weird how a craft that big just suddenly vanished in the blink of an eye? Not to mention, there was a prison break the other day, and a Colossal woke up early this morning. I think these events might be related. Winona rambled as she made a roundabout motion in her arms, making them go up and over the other in circles. You think a prison break and a big animal waking up is linked to an unknown alien horror? Taylor asked, as Void and Jida silently ate their burgers. It is an odd occurrence. Could be a coincidence. Unfortunately, me and my pops haven't been able to find any of those escapees at all. Morpho, Shallow, Selena. Ellie whispered the last name under her breath, as to not alert the others. It's been havoc the last few days, if you want me to be totally honest. Winona, your little call could not have come at a better time. I needed this break. Ellie expressed as she leaned her head back into her seat whilst taking in a deep sigh. Leaning back into her own seat with her sandwich in hand, Coco let out a little chuckle and gazed up to the ceiling, noticing an elf on the shelf dangling from a fan. Good thing you and your papa got the blue bullet and the cosmic angel on your backs. You guys see them save the Christmas fair from Morpho? Coco exclaimed in an ask, as she then looked the Void and quickly winked. I was there! And that wasn't the cosmic angel! Winona boasted as she jolted upright again with a smirk. It was another bullhorn-looking dude. Taller than the bullet, may I add. He had these golden glowing slime arms. He had really sharp horns. He wore a similar mask. God, did you see the suits? God, sorry, I don't have many people to talk about this with. Winona babbled, making Muck perk up and raise an eyebrow. So an orange bullet is what you're describing? He asked, making the group chuckle, while Void and Jida of which stared on with a bit of a nervous tone. I wouldn't be surprised. We've got the blue bullet, the angel, a new vigilante, Darfrog, right? And who knows who else is out there with superpowers or whatever. Taylor said with a quotation motion in his fingers. Maybe they're all aliens. Winona stated with excitement, nearly making Void choke on his food. Maybe. Didn't you see that the blue bullet was in Leo and the Great Remains? He was supposedly accompanied by similar-looking people that were green and yellow. Holy crap, wait a minute. Ellie gasped with a smile, making Muck roll his eyes. You guys love your conspiracy theories, huh? Jida asked with a little chuckle, as Void did his best to keep a chill attitude. Not conspiracies, friend. I'm just trying to piece unknown things together in a way that fits a narrative. Winona replied, which left Coco retorting. So, a conspiracy. From this dry reply, everyone burst out into laughter. Even Void and Jida laughed, although still feeling a bit odd on the subject for obvious reasons. Well, when an alien ship crashes without a trace, Aurora's worst breaks out, a Colossal appears with more bullets alongside himself. Can't really say I blame you, Winnie. You remind me a lot of your dad. Taylor said as he took a soggy bite out of his burger. To this, Winona smiled and brushed her hair out from her eyes. The ramble had caused her curls to flink forwards in front of her view, which made things a bit awkward for appearance. Well, thanks. Hopefully I can really get out there and do real stories. But that's quite enough about me and my freak out. What about you guys? Winona asked as she gestured towards the others. Boring, and even more boring until as of late with all that's happened. It pretty much boils down to me sitting in my dad's cruiser and petting his dog for the last couple of years. I'm getting good pay though. Gotta love investigations, am I right? Ellie spoke up, while also being the first to finish her burger. That's good at least. I've been trying to get my music out there some more. Unfortunately, I'm stuck working retail. It's not bad, but I wish I could try to get my music out there some more. Taylor said as he mimicked the motion of playing a cello. I could probably help with that. I got a small music station podcast set up. It gets decent listeners and revenue. So if you want, maybe we can play some of your music and see what happens. Jida exclaimed with a smile that made Taylor jolt upright. Really? He asked. Really, Jida replied, to a series of thanks and happy tones on the flip side. I've just been in the construction field. Not much more to say besides it's pretty easy to work with my magic. Although it does get boring. Muck replied as he too finished his burger and sat back with a satisfied belly. Clothing brand for me. You know how it goes. What about you, Void? Still working at Sarvy Sweets? Coco asked, breaking the silence within the spark. Oh, yeah. You know me. Same old. He answered with an awkward smile, making the frog giggle. So wait, is everyone off for a few days? Jida suddenly asked, as she waved the waitress down for a check. It appeared that they were done eating. Yeah. It's Christmas week. Did you forget? To Jida, Winona's words suddenly felt like a freight train striking a deer. To it, she swung her head back and slapped her forehead. Oh, that's right, my dumbass. She chuckled before looking back forwards. Right, okay. Because I wanted to ask if you would all like to join me and Void out for lunch tomorrow. We haven't hung out in so long, so I think we should try at least and have one full day out. The guitarist suggested, as Winona paid the fee for the waitress, as it was her idea to bring everyone out. Yeah, I'm down. If it's okay, I would maybe like to bring a friend I met at the fair. We've been chatting and I think you guys would like to meet them. Winona asked, and everyone's nodding heads. Yeah, totally. The more the merrier. Ellie assured as everyone stood and began to make their way towards the exit. I'm down, but would anyone care for a holiday stroll? Taylor asked as they all left the building and began to walk their way forwards towards Aurora's festivity-filled streets. Night's so young. Why the hell not? Jaira replied as she gently skipped ahead whilst taking Ellie and Winona by the hands. Hey, easy there, Skipper. Winona chuckled out as everyone felt themselves to be teenagers once again. As they all began to stroll through the streets that were filled with hundreds of lights and decorations, Coco and Void slowly trailed their way to the back of the group, as the others continued to chat on ahead. Nice way to avoid conversation, Blue Bullet. Coco whispered while playfully shoulder nudging the Spark. Har har, very funny, Dart Frog. Void replied back with a half smirk as he too nudged Coco back. Sorry, I couldn't help myself from bringing it up. You're just too easy to tease. Coco replied with a mischievous tone, for the two friends looked back ahead to their friends. So, what's gotten you traveling all over the world? The frog inquired, which left Void thinking on it. Sparks, Coco. More are alive. They arrived in that ship from a few days ago. I'm trying to help them fix it. Void answered, leaving Coco a tad shocked. Whoa, wait, really? Was that so-called orange bullet a friend then? She asked, feeling taken aback by Void's words. He's my brother. It's a family matter, if you want me to be honest. Nodding in a bit of disbelief, Coco kicked a small wad of snow out of her path before speaking again. Gotcha. Well, you and I both know what it means when it comes to family matters. Coco replied, making reference to something that the two knew from years past. How could I forget the mischievous dart frog stealing from local banks? Me and Jida really thought you to be a crook until we discovered who you were. Void whispered back, making Coco look off to the side. You already know the story. My grandmother was sick. We were poor. I can only support her by breaking the law. The frog sadly mumbled before looking back to the city's winter wonderland. Thanks again for not throwing me in the slammer. You guys helping me to keep her healthy was one of the nicest things anyone's done for me. Thanks to you, she's still alive. Smiling, Void patted Coco's back, making her smile with a little croak. Hey, don't worry about what you did. Water under the bridge, you know. Void replied with a cold gust of air leaving his mouth. Yeah. Also, I know you told me that this is obviously a family matter, but if you need help with whatever it is you're doing, just let me know. You're like a brother to me, Novison. The little frog said as she wrapped her arm around Void's waist, showing the odd display of height between the two of them. Duly noted. Just know the world has nothing to worry about. The Sparks are good people. To this, Coco nodded her large head, and then began the speed walk forwards, dragging Void along with her. Alright, enough sappy vigilante talk. Let's get out there before the girls trip over themselves. Coco stated, making Void smirk and keep up with his little frog friend. Yeah, sounds like a good plan. He replied as a wave of happiness and Christmas cheer swelled within his soul.